I would just like to start this little recap by saying, still here. That's right. The New England Patriots are still in the playoffs. So we heard all last week how strength of schedule, the Patriots haven't played anyone good. They're going to be one and done in the playoffs. The Chargers defense and the Chargers offense were just going to be too much for the Patriots to handle. And I would just like to say, still here. So exciting. What was a surprise to, I think, everybody, it was a defensive slobber knocker. And I don't even know where that Patriots defense came from because, quite frankly, we haven't seen them play like that in a very long time. Definitely not this year. Certainly not the last like 8 or 9 years, maybe the 2014 season when we had Darrelle Revis and Brandon Browner, but I don't know where that Patriots defense came from on Sunday night, but I would just like to say, great job, great job, great job, because we held one of the top offenses in the NFL to 157 yards. And Justin Herbert, I felt bad for him. By the end of the game, I did feel bad for him because he was running for his life on Sunday. And he already came into the game injured. He had sat the week prior because of his hand injury. And then he was pressured 30 times on Sunday. 30 times. We didn't have a pass rush all season, and then all of a sudden, maybe they were saving it for the playoffs. Maybe they knew strength of schedule. We're not playing anyone great. We don't need to show people what we can do until we get to the playoffs. Although I don't think anyone thought, even including some of the players, because they did ask, I think it was Morgan Moses, they asked him if he thought that they would be, it was either him or Milton Williams, and they asked if they thought that they would be where they're at right now. And they were like, definitely not. But I don't know where that defense came from, but I would just like to say, please continue for the rest of the playoffs. Play like that. Pressure quarterbacks 30 times, sack them 6 times, cause fumbles, force fumbles. Justin Herbert, I think he didn't have any passing yardages from this, like the middle of the second quarter until sometime in the fourth quarter. So he went like almost 2 full quarters without completing a pass. That is bananas. And that Chargers defense was also an incredible defense because our receivers were struggling to get open. Stephon Diggs had one of the worst games that he's had, I think, maybe in his career, because the guy couldn't catch a ball to save his life. And that's not a Stephon Diggs type of problem. And Drake May he struggled. He does not do well with pressure. I don't know any quarterback that does well with pressure, but I think he would have mitigated some of the mistakes that he made and some of the fumbles that he made if he didn't try and play hero ball. But like, all I know is that when there was that tipped pass at the line of scrimmage, which I don't really blame Drake May for, but tipped pass at the line of scrimmage, and it's intercepted by the Chargers, and it's at the Patriots 10-yard line. And I was for sure, I told my brother-in-law, I'm like, just give them the points. Just give the Chargers the points, because then we can like move on, brush it off. They're on the board because you made a stupid mistake, and just move on. And now you go and you start scoring. But you know what happened? And I can't believe this happened, but it did. The Patriots, who were one of the worst teams in the NFL in red zone defense, I think they were 31st or 32nd in red zone defense. Like, if you got into the red zone on the Patriots defense, you were guaranteed points. Granted, you rarely got into the red zone with the Patriots defense, but if you did, forget it. Like, the ball was yours. And so I thought for sure that the Chargers, this high powered, high scoring Justin Herbert offense, was going to score at least 3. And the defense held. And they got down to like the 1 or 2 yard line, and 3rd and goal, and Justin Herbert tries to run it in, and 5'8" cornerback Marcus Jones comes untouched and saves a touchdown. And so you're 4th and goal. I would have taken the points, preferably. If I were the coach, I would have been like, okay, 3 points, we'll live to fight another day. No, they went for it. And you know what? Justin Herbert overthrew Keenan Allen, and they stopped him. They made a goal line stop. 4 downs on a Drake May tipped ball interception, although not really Drake May's fault, but I can't believe that happened. I was like in shock because I thought for sure, I was like, okay, 4th down, they're gonna take 3 points. They're only up by 3. That is not that big a deal. And then when I saw they were going for it on 4th down, I was like, of course they are. Because why not? Because the Patriots can't stop anyone in the red zone. And then they did. And I don't know where this defense came from, but I loved it. Loved every second of it. And our offensive line was straight trash on, especially the left side of the offensive line, straight trash on Sunday night. Drake May was running for his life, which did cause him to make some stupid mistakes and fumble a time or two. And they got lucky that I can't even put into words the fact that I was like, okay, thank God our defense is on the field, because in our defense we trust. I did not think that one time this season at all. At all. I was always like, oh, get the defense off the field and get Drake May and the offense on. But they struggled on Sunday night, and Will Campbell and Jared Wilson could not stop the pass rush to save their life. And it makes you wonder if, like, why didn't you put Ben Brown in for Jared Wilson? Because Ben Brown had been covering for him while Jared Wilson was out for a concussion, and he was the hot hand. And Ben Brown is a little bit more of a wider, sturdy man, and you might have needed that girth next to a leaner Will Campbell, especially with that left side of the Chargers pass rush. But we saw when they went into their jumbo packages and they had an extra lineman, that's when they were able to make plays. So that could be something that they end up doing with the Texans on Sunday to mitigate that pass rush, because the Texans they have an incredible nasty defense, but and I'm probably going to get some comments from Texans fans, but the Texans don't disguise, they don't do anything they're kind of a simple defense. They're just really good at being simple, and sometimes that's all you need. But you kind of know what you're getting with the Texans defense, and that's just how bad Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers were on Monday night, because the Texans offense and CJ Stroud turned the ball over 6 times. Like, CJ Stroud had 5 fumbles himself, and that's not including their 6th turnover. And Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense couldn't do a blessed thing with 6 turnovers. You can't do that against the New England Patriots, because they will score points, even if it's 3 points. But I digress. Even though Drake May wasn't his best on Sunday night, he was better than Justin Herbert. He made plays when he needed to. He was like our leading rusher. He had over 60 yards rushing. And that's another thing that the Texans are really bad at, and that is defending a quarterback scramble. and that's something that Drake May's really good at. So it could be a very interesting matchup. And we saw the success that the offense had when they would do their jumbo packages and they would bring in that extra lineman to help with protection. That is how they scored their touchdown against the Chargers with Hunter Henry on Sunday. They brought in that extra pass protection and gave Drake May just enough time to make one of the most incredible throws. I mean, he made incredible throws all year long, but when you saw him thread that needle so tight, like the Chargers defensive player had his hand up and the ball literally like pushed his fingertips right into the hands of Hunter Henry for the touchdown. And it was that game. There were so many complaints about it on Sunday or on Monday and the following days after that game because people were like, it's such a low scoring game, blah, 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 blah. The Patriots aren't that good, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Tell me you can't appreciate a defensive masterpiece without telling me, because the defenses on both sides of the ball came to play. And I understand that this is an offensive driven league, and that is why the NFL has gone the way that it has, with rarely letting defenses play football. But I thoroughly enjoyed watching our defense kick butt on Sunday night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Made me very happy. It was so reminiscent of, and this is the hoodie that this Super Bowl is from, but the Super Bowl 53, where we played the Rams and we held the highest scoring, most high powered offense in the NFL to 3 points, because it was a defensive battle, that Super Bowl, and everyone complained about it because everyone prefers touchdowns. But just really, people need to appreciate a good defensive battle, because it was just a good game. 16-3. Drake May scrambling like right before the half, 37 yards to set up a field goal going into the half. And the fact that two of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL or in the AFC were held to 6-3 at the half was just wild. That's how good the defenses were. And I don't know about you, but I love football and I loved seeing it. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen Sunday at 3:00 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that Rams Patriots Super Bowl where we beat them 13-3, which is kind of weird. It was a 16-3 win on Sunday with the same type of down the seam pass to a tight end that caused the one touchdown in the game and caused the game to be over. Like, it was eerily similar. And the funny thing about that Super Bowl 53 game was that we won that game because of our defense. And that, true story, funny story, not funny, but funny story. That is why Tom Brady left the Patriots, because Bill Belichick he didn't like them. They were already on the outs. And that Super Bowl was the reason why Tom Brady walked, because Bill Belichick went to Robert Kraft and said, we don't need an aging quarterback who just doesn't have it anymore. Defense wins championships. And if we have our defense, we can plug in any old quarterback and we'll continue to win. And that's what Robert Kraft said in the Dynasty documentary that they did on Apple TV. And that is why he let Tom Brady go and kept Bill Belichick. Boy, was he wrong, because we did not make it to the playoffs with Cam Newton. We did go to the playoffs one time with Mac Jones, and then we didn't see the playoffs for 3 years after that. And the team just got worse and worse. Even though we had a good defense, it got worse and worse. And next thing you know, we are here today in the spot right now, thanks to Bill Belichick telling Robert Kraft that Tom Brady was old and washed up and they didn't need him anymore. And defense wins championships. And Tom Brady went out and won a championship with a different team the following year. Almost made it to either the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl the next year, and then we sucked and we got Drake May. And here we are, thanks to a defensive stand in Super Bowl 53. And we move on to the divisional round on Sunday against the Houston Texans, who have an incredible defense, but they don't disguise anything. They tip their hand, and it'll be interesting to see them go up against an offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels, because Josh McDaniels may not be a good head coach, but one thing he is good at is being an offensive coordinator. Did I say defensive coordinator earlier? But he's not. He's an offensive coordinator who did, however, true story, start out on defense before making his way to offense. So it'll be an interesting game if we can protect Drake May. If we protect Drake May, he is incredible. He's one of the best there is in the league currently at what he does when he is protected. And if we get after the quarterback the way that we did on Sunday night, I don't think CJ Stroud can handle that. I think there will be a lot more turnovers. And this time we won't be Aaron Rodgers and the Crapsburg Steelers. We will capitalize on those and we will score points and we will win. So I loved the outcome on Sunday night. I hope we have the same type of outcome this coming Sunday at 3:00. I mean, LeGarrette Blount did say about, because everyone thought this was going to be such a high scoring game, and LeGarrette Blount said, "What you think you know about this playoff game?" He's like, "Just forget about it. It's not going to happen." So we're all going into this next playoff game against the Houston Texans thinking it's going to be a low scoring game because the Texans defense is so good. But what you think you know about the playoffs and how the game is going to go, just throw that out the window, because it probably won't. And I hope I'm back for another video that has me celebrating a victory and the move to the AFC Championship, because we are one down. We have 4 to go, right? We're one down, or is it 3 to go? Because we have the divisional round, the AFC Championship, and so it's 4 games. We are one down, 3 to go. And hopefully we are going to be your Super Bowl champions this year.